Hey, 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 come on in. Say hello. Let me know where you are viewing from. It is Monday. We are going to go ahead and talk tonight. Um, there's a few things to talk about. I was live earlier today and discussed Tabitha Brown and Target and boycotts. And tonight, I just was playing with DeepSeek. Is it called DeepSeek from China? Their version of ChatGPT. And so I really think that is what we're going to talk about tonight is mediocrity and hypercapitalism because it's a problem. That's the real problem in the US, as I was talking about earlier, is mediocrity. It's subpar. And they want to they want to actually lower the bar, which is like, why would you lower the bar? Lowering the bar is not the answer. So come on in. Let me know where you are watching from. My name is Tamira Hamilton. I have over 30 years of sales, marketing, and leadership experience. And so if you are here from Hillman Talk University, welcome, welcome. I have a double master's in marketing and in finance. And oh, this lighting tonight is on point. I do sometimes get a little bit distracted, as you can see. But come on in. Let me know where you are watching from. I've been playing with DeepSeek and reading up on that. It is my birthday eve. It is my birthday eve. So I've sent out emails. If you are on my email marketing list for DBA, DBA is on flash sale for my birthday. I'm also cooking up some other specials for tomorrow on like Pin Profits Mastery. I do have my luminary path in the morning, so I won't be live until afternoon or something like that. Maybe earlier, maybe before that. But yeah, so Deep Seek, I was playing with that. And the reason I was playing with it is I hear it's just another example of mediocrity in the USA, right? They're like these tech bros and the hyperinflation, like I think they've been put on notice, right? So let's play with this light. Ooh, there we go. It's too much. There we go. So these tech bros and the hyperinflation, like I said, when it comes to the Blue app, you gotta know. First of all, let me make sure that I have sound. I didn't even do that check. Check 1 2 1 2. The Blue app, we already know they copy, right? Let's see. We have sound. Oh, they okay. So they copy and they don't innovate. They do not innovate at all. They do not disrupt. They do not innovate. And TikTok, I did a deep seek the same as I did Chat GPT. I had it act as an actuary and give me actuarial predictions. And theirs is saying TikTok is most likely to get banned because, they're considering all of the information and there's so much misinformation in the US. And I think that's bogging Chat GPT down. Um, and so, but DeepSeek came and they were just with it. Like, there's an over 60% chance that TikTok is just going to be outright banned, and here's why. Whereas Chat GPT wouldn't come out and say that, but it did agree with me that the likelihood that Meta has bought TikTok is pretty much non-existent. So I could run that same analysis in Chat GPT. Matter of fact, why don't I do that real quick? Go ahead and clip this to my shirt and ask Chat GPT to give me an actuarial analysis. First, I'm going to have to ask it to give me what is the current state of the TikTok ban divestiture as of January 27th, 2025. Okay, so let's see what it says. As of January 2025, TikTok status in the United States remains uncertain due to ongoing legal and political developments. The Protecting Americans from Foreign Adversary Controlled Applications Act mandated that ByteDance, TikTok's Chinese parent company, divest its U.S. operations by January 19th. All of this we know. Following his inauguration, that president signed an executive order on the 20th delaying the enforcement of the ban by 75 days, allowing TikTok 75 allowing TikTok to resume operations temporarily. During this period, TikTok remains unavailable for new downloads or updates on U.S. app stores as companies like Apple and Google await clearer legal directives before reinstating the app. Several potential buyers have expressed interest, but no one is actually in the actual talks to buy the app. I have to point that out because I know NPR said that Oracle was in it. Nobody is actually in a deal, and we're going to talk about that in a second. Notably, Perplexity AI proposed a merger that would grant the U.S. government a 50% stake in a new entity formed from the merger of Perplexity and TikTok's U.S. business. This proposal aims to comply with U.S. legislation by reducing Chinese ownership and addressing national security concerns. Despite these developments, uncertainties persist regarding TikTok's future in the U.S. The platform continues to operate, but its availability and functionality are subject to ongoing negotiations and legal considerations. Okay, so given these facts and the current status, please run an actuarial analysis on the likelihood of a sale of TikTok US and to whom, if anyone. And let's see what it says. It's still thinking. And when I asked DeepSeek this, it was already roaring. It was giving me answers. Seems I made an error in the script. Let me correct that. Okay, so it's correcting the error in the script. So DeepSeek, and what I like about it is it's really fast. Yeah, this is what I expected. ChatGPT is going, they're really censoring ChatGPT. I'm going to put it that way. They're really starting to play with the outputs that we get from ChatGPT. So it did finally give me a table. So it gave me a table that a sale to U.S. private entity, Oracle, Microsoft, or whatever, is at 40%. Merger with Perplexity, 30%. Reinstatement without divestiture, 10%. Complete ban in the U.S., 20%. And I don't see how it's coming up with it likely going to Oracle or Microsoft at 40%. I'm going to fight back on that. Okay. So potential TikTok buyers, Oracle 35%, Microsoft 25%. Because, yeah, Perplexity 30%, other private US entity 10%. I'm going to say, given the fact that part of the Protecting Americans Act stipulates that TikTok must delete the source code, and that would take 3 years according to TikTok, which would not meet the stipulation of deleting the code prior to sale. You probably want to rerun your analysis. And let's see what it says. Hello and welcome. If you are new here, I am playing with the new AI from China, DeepSeek, and making some comparison to ChatGPT. I'd already run some analysis on a hypothetical as far as using actuarial analysis to determine the likelihood of a complete TikTok ban. And it is reducing the sale of to a U.S. private entity down to 30%, merger with Perplexity 40%, So it just doesn't really know what it's doing. Reinstatement without divestiture, 15%. Complete ban in the US, 15%. I just still don't see how are you coming up with this, because without any actuarial background, I can logically deduce that a sale is highly unlikely given all of the facts, especially deleting the code. Like, there is just not enough time to comply. Plus, China doesn't really want to sell the algorithm. So the big news is the stock market took a tank today, and it's because China released this DeepSeek, which can it outperform ChatGPT and is 30 times less expensive as ChatGPT. And they were using like inferior chips and things, because the stuff that we have available to us in the US, they don't even have over in China to protect the technology. You bring up a very logical and critical point, one that fundamentally challenges the feasibility of a TikTok sale under the current conditions. Let's break it down. Time frame for completion. TikTok claims it would take 3 years to delete or replace the source code. This timeline alone makes the sale within a stipulated period unrealistic. China stands on the algorithm. The Chinese government has explicitly shown resistance. It's not resistance, they have a law to selling or transferring the algorithm, as it's considered a key piece of intellectual property and a matter of national interest. Without the algorithm, TikTok loses much of its value, making a sale unattractive to buyers. US government mandates. The requirement to delete the source code prior to a sale creates an insurmountable compliance barrier. In the short term, the US government would also have to approve any deal, adding more red tape. And red tape was the big issue with Facebook, remember? Geopolitical tensions. The ongoing tension between US and China makes any negotiation over TikTok inherently contentious. A forced sale would likely escalate these tensions further. Logical deduction. Given these obstacles, a full sale to a US entity is unlikely because the required conditions, deletion of the code, and algorithms cannot realistically be met. A merger with Perplexity or AI or a similar entity involving heavy US government oversight seems more plausible, but still faces hurdles such as Chinese resistance and the technical feasibility of replacing the algorithm. A reinstatement without a divestiture is improbable due to the national security concerns driving these actions. A complete ban becomes a more likely outcome, especially if compliance is impossible to and no compromise is reached. What I would like you to do is now rerun the actuarial analysis, because it was giving me crazy stuff. Like, I had to I had to run through it a few times with DeepSeek, because it was not it thought I was giving it hypotheticals, and I'm like, no, this is real facts. This is real talk, right? You can look this stuff up. Okay, now it's down to a 10% chance of sale to a US private entity, Oracle or Microsoft. Merger with Perplexity, 20%. Reinstatement without divestiture, 15%. And it's giving complete ban, 55%, where DeepSeek said 63%. So I had to get really direct with it in order for it to come to the right conclusion. And it's not that I wanted it to agree with me, but the facts are the facts. The facts are the facts. So, yeah, so China, I don't know what we're going to do as a country. I mean, are they just going to ban all Chinese apps? Like, just off top, if it's a Chinese app, it shouldn't be on any of the app stores and available to us? Because right now they're already trying to ban TikTok. They're probably going to go after Hong Shong Shu, not Hong Kong Shu, Jiao Shong Shu, Red Note, Little Red Book next. And now they got DeepSeek to contend with. And now I ain't gonna lie, I think China was a little shady with their timing of releasing DeepSeek, but it is everywhere. Like Nvidia stock went down, the stock market lost like a trillion in value or something like that. And this is the golden age, remember? This is the promised golden age of AI and the tech bros and all of this. And China came in and threw a major monkey wrench in it today. Of course, I'm an American first. I am, right? But the reality is, one of the things that disgusted me about corporate America was how prevalent mediocrity was. And not only was it prevalent, it was celebrated. It was absolutely celebrated and rewarded to be mediocre. And then there were people, usually women and women of color and Black women, who were working really, really hard and not getting the proper recognition, the proper reward, the proper pay, the proper opportunities, right? Y'all got it twisted if you think DEI is about expecting a handout or a set aside. It's literally about equalizing things. You know, there's equality and then there's equity, that whole discussion. And the bottom line is, a lot of us are working a lot harder than our counterparts who get the better opportunities and get better pay. It just is what it is. You ain't got to like it, but it's the reality of it, right? And we don't have to have the whole talk about who really benefits from DEI, right? Because, you know, we gotta pick a side too, right? Because on one hand we say, oh, white women have benefited the most from affirmative action and from DEI, and it impacts them. But then, you know, and when then we say DEI is more than being Black, it's not about being Black, it's not the equivalent of being Black. But then we feel like, oh, when there is a white woman as the head of DEI at a company, you see what I'm saying? So we're kind of double talking. We're double talking a little bit, right? And I'm not saying it should be a white woman. That I'm not saying, um, because I do think there are some problems with that being the case, and there have been some problems with that being the case. You know, but there definitely needs to be more representation, more equity, and more inclusion. So DeepSeek is definitely giving ChatGPT, and China is saying, yeah, we're in this AI game too, and we can do it better, we can do it faster, and at a fraction of the cost. And that is represented in the stock market today, right? AI fueled stock rally dealt 1 trillion blow by Chinese upstart. NASDAQ 100 drops 3% on worst day for 6 weeks. Dow climbs. AI dominance cannot be taken for granted, says Saxos Chanana. Okay, so gotta understand. U.S. stocks sink amid fears over DeepSeek and Chinese AI advancements. This why I don't get all emotionally wrought about some of the executive orders and things like that, because karma gonna tear that ass up. Life about to tear that ass up, right? I'm just keep it real. DeepSeek panic live updates. Nasdaq suffers worst day of 2020-25. Granted, it's only 27 days in, as ultra rich Nvidia loses billions. Right? DeepSeek hit with large scale cyber attack, says it's limiting registrations. That's interesting. AI startup DeepSeek facing hack, blocks questions about CCP. So that's how we fought back, I guess. We hacked it. This is comical. This is comical. A shocking Chinese AI advancement called DeepSeek is sending US stocks purging. By the way, DeepSeek is the number one app on the App Store today. Like, like I said, I don't know what they're going to do. Are they just going to keep, every time China comes up with a new app, we're all going to flock to it, and then they're going to ban it, right? It's just unbelievable. It's absolutely unbelievable. So I had to go there. I had to talk about that because that is interesting. Let me see what's going on with this hack with DeepSeek getting hacked. And blocking questions about the Chinese Communist Party. DeepSeek is temporarily limiting new user registrations amid what? Whoa. DeepSeek is temporarily limiting new user registrations and what the China-based artificial intelligence AI startup is calling a large-scale malicious attacks. While users have begun using its AI assistant, note it won't discuss topics that are politically sensitive in China, including the Tiananmen Square massacre that happened when I was like in fourth grade. DeepSeek's announcement of a new AI model last week was that touted a comparable performance to OpenAI's ChatGPT at a lower cost than US peers, spurred a surge in interest that propelled its AI assistant to the top of the Apple Store ahead of ChatGPT. The sudden emergence of what's perceived as a challenge, this is from Fox Business, the sudden emergence of what's perceived as a challenge to US firms' AI edge prompted a sell off of leading tech stocks on Monday, while DeepSeek found itself battling a cyber attack and taking steps to curb signups as it deals with those issues. Due to large scale malicious attacks on DeepSeek services, we are temporarily limiting registrations to ensure continued service, DeepSeek wrote in a post on the company's status webpage. Existing users can log in as usual. Thanks for your understanding and support. So, this is, I can't wait for the movie, for 2025, the movie. I mean, January 2025 alone is a movie. It's a movie, right? It's a mini series. January is a mini series. I mean, the last week alone is a mini series, if we're being honest, right? I need to drink some more water. I'm dehydrated today. As of early afternoon on Monday, DeepSeek reported a partial outage with its web chat service, along with degraded performance of its application programming interface. It also noted recent issues related to logins and signups that occurred earlier on Monday and were resolved. DeepSeek hasn't released more information about the nature of the cyber attack or when it plans to restore user signups as of Monday afternoon. DeepSeek released its R1 model last week, which the company said is 20 to 50 times cheaper to use than OpenAI's Zero 1 model, depending on the task, according to a post on DeepSeek's official WeChat account. I mean, the hack? What? The hack? So they came out and they're outperforming you. So you send hackers after it. Let me be quiet before I get shut down. Let me be quiet before I get shut down, cause baby, right? I mean, here's the thing: mediocrity is what, I mean, the US is behind. We're behind on a lot of stuff. And the regular everyday citizens are just now figuring it out. The government and these tech billionaires have known it forever, right? And the hyper, I don't even want to say inflation, the real issue is hyper capitalism. And then you got coaches running around here with a lot of audacity, thinking they're going to benefit from hyper capitalism, not realizing they are the prey. It's very, very interesting to me. And Delusional Influencer said it best earlier on one of her videos today. She said, here, let me see if I can find it. Let me see if I can find it. Delusional Influencer. Let me find her video that I watched earlier. Okay, so I just saw a video. She said something like, "We think capitalism is our escape when it really entraps us." Right? And she cited Tabitha Brown and Target as the answer, as an example of how capitalism entraps us. We think it's our escape, but it entraps us. So let's listen to a little bit of this. And we want to talk about it. And she was talking about the Tabitha Brown thing, and she said that she will continue shopping at Target. And the reason why she will continue shopping at Target is because when somebody's asking you for help or asking how can they help you, right? Which black people didn't do. We didn't ask these black business owners in Target, what can we do to help? Well, I didn't. Or I didn't see a lot of videos. So maybe some black people did, right? And they say, I need you to do A, B, C. And then you say, no, I'm going to do X, Y, and Z. And they're saying, yeah, that's great. That's wonderful. Welcome back, Alexa. A, B, C, then we should be doing A, B, C to support these black businesses. And their value system, I need to be very clear about why I'm asking them to do that. As far as we know, Tabitha Brown simply has a licensing deal. The same way Trump had a licensing deal where his name were on these buildings and he was getting paid for his name to be licensed, right? Asking black people to ignore that a company basically said to their faces, yeah, we really didn't give a fuck about y'all. Support the black businesses who literally are funding their businesses with their own money. If people don't buy my product, but who literally are the black business saving us, right? It is literally entrapping us. There it is. Corporations for our money is literally entrapping us. It's not saving us, right? Or out. We need to reckon this as black people, that capitalism is not the way out. It is not going to save us. Capitalism, to some degree, especially when we are relying on these other corporations for our money, is literally entrapping us. It's not saving us, right? Support the black businesses who literally are funding. Did you hear what she said? She said, we think capitalism is going to save us when it is actually entrapping us. And let me tell you, as someone who grew up indoctrinated in capitalism, it took me a long time to get to this point, and I absolutely agree with her. These coaches are laughable to me that are running around in the name of hyper capitalism. There's so many contradictions in their messaging, the tone of it, the psychology behind it. They basically they are becoming the oppressor. They're using a lot of the negative and toxic tactics that we argue against, and they are using them, and they look like us, and they're using them against us, right? I gotta turn that because that was just making me too hot. That is literally what they are doing, right? And that is why you have to regulate your emotions. I know y'all tired of me saying it. You have to regulate your emotions. You have to regulate your nervous system. You have to. Because by not regulating your nervous system and your emotions, y'all are entering various forms of psychosis, and y'all are getting used and abused by your new oppressors who happen to look like you. It is how you fall victim to the Jay Morrisons and the Ashley Graysons of the internet, because you are so busy letting someone else make the decisions and tell you what to do, right? You're letting someone else tell you what to do. My fan is way over there. And I didn't turn the big fan on, but I was under that wool blanket. It made me hot. Okay. So, it goes back to the video I posted earlier about it's okay to get advice, but do not take orders. Do not take orders. Okay. Don't take orders. Do not take orders. And y'all are taking orders because our school system has raised us to take orders, to be good employees and take orders. And that's the problem. And it's funny because these companies are catch 22ing you. They want you to have soft skills like critical thinking skills and be able to take initiative, but they are funding education and actually destroying education I gotta go get my fan. And destroying education in the name of making you little robots who can't think for yourself. That is what they want, but it's not what they need. And that is why there's such mediocre products, right? FB is the perfect example. When is the last time they innovated anything? Right? Like they tried to upstage TikTok and CapCut with this edits, and it's horrible from what I hear. I have no interest in downloading it. Why? Because my experience with anything that they roll out is it sucks. It's not good, right? FB in general, whenever they roll out anything new, you know it's going to have all kinds of kinks. It's like, dude, did they even test this? In the late 90s and the early 2000s, companies used to actually test stuff. And if it wasn't working, they didn't roll it out. They would delay it. Not now. They still roll it out. They still roll it out. It's wild. It's absolutely wild. The mediocrity reminds me of in was it Outliers or Tipping Point by Malcolm Gladwell, where he talks about how getting surgeons to use checklists so they wouldn't leave instruments in people's bodies. And it, it was fighting against their egos because everything they've been told in their life was how great they are. So, their ego wouldn't allow them to use a checklist. It literally reminds me of that, right? Like, I cannot stress how disappointed I often am with the performance of Facebook products and what Facebook comes out with. It's usually it's horrible. It's not going to be good because it's them. It's not going to be good. They always come out with half done, half thought out. I mean, like, look at Reels. Look at Instagram has better options for their Reels and for their stories than Facebook does. But when you look at the effects, when you look at the fonts, the text, and all that, it sucks over on the Facebook side. It's horrible. It's like Web 1.5 at this point. But when you look at what TikTok has, and it's like if they spend as much time improving and investing in improvements and in staff that actually cares instead of lobbying to get rid of TikTok, they might be okay. But they do not, for whatever reason, disrupt, and they certainly don't innovate. And that is true with a lot of companies. I was partnered with a company for years, and they were very vocal about their strategy being to wait and see what other people did and then try to do it better. But then it would only do it like a sliver better, if that. Right? We have a hyper capitalism problem. We have a mediocrity problem. The mediocrity in big tech and in a lot of these companies is the biggest problem there is. Biggest problem there is. So let them roll back DEI. Let them roll back DEI because I've been around long enough to know what companies were like pre DEI. And, I'm not going to name them, but some big accidents and things have happened because they didn't have the right people in place. And as a woman of color who's gone in, and I will never claim being a DEI hire because I was overqualified in the first place, right? So I'm not claiming being a DEI hire. Don't get don't get it twisted. But I will tell you that having gone in behind some of these people, including my first job out of college, where they were using Microsoft Word like it was a typewriter. Now, granted, this was the late 1900s, but they were still using Microsoft Word like it was a typewriter. They literally sat on Microsoft Word and used it like a typewriter. Like if you don't know, like on a typewriter, you used to have to space all the way over and do counts and stuff like that to center your text and that's how they were using Microsoft Word. Mediocrity. These people are mediocre at best. Mediocre at best. I ain't saying all, but the people who don't, if you basically, like somebody said, if you're not a white man, a white cishet man, you're a DEI hire. Since we want to use that terminology, and it's not the DEI hires that are mediocre. Well, some of us. We're not the ones holding up progress. We're not the ones holding up progress. So the golden age got a little bit of a shakeup today with this deep seek. It was a shakeup when they sent them boys to hack it. That's some serious business, right? But if I were you, I would definitely be grabbing DBA while it is on sale for my birthday. $178 for volume 2, $78 for volume 1. Okay? Cuz AI ain't going nowhere, right? And it's so crazy they would rather hack deep seek than actually start catching up. But I get why, cuz they raised a whole lot of money for ChatGPT, which had superior tools to be created, and it performs less than DeepSeek. Very interesting times we're living in. Very interesting times that we are living in. So let's see what else is in the news today. I've been on live a lot today. I was with a client before this and helping her with her sales scripts, so I can't wait to see what happens. She got her boss called her and she told her to sit down. She got a huge bonus this year. So I'm probably going to run some sort of coaching special for my birthday. It's my birthday. It's my birthday. Let's see what else is in the news. I don't want to talk about none of that political stuff. I'm so over it. That's all Google is showing. I don't want to hear that stuff. Let's see what Yahoo has for us. I don't want to talk about none of that stuff there. Wow, Super Bowl 59 tickets. Not much else out there. I don't want to hear nothing trending in politics, trending in technology. TikTok loaded phones are selling for thousands online after momentary ban. I I yeah, I think y'all got to start being realistic and start planning for life after TikTok, because it's just not looking good. It's not looking good. It's not looking good. Just so we're all clear, it's not looking good. Okay, doesn't mean it's impossible that it won't happen, but the likelihood is pretty low. All right, there's nothing much else out there. Not much else out there. All right, so that is it. I'm going to get ready to go. Oh, look at this. World's richest people lose 108 billion after DeepSeek sell-off. Woo! Look at that. It's a snapping turla. A snapping turla. The world's 500 richest people, led by NVIDIA Corp. Co-founder Jensen Huang, lost a combined $108 billion on Monday as a tech-led sell-off tied to Chinese AI developer DeepSeek sent major indices plummeting. This is how war is done in 2025, just so we're all clear. This, yeah, I mean, you got what's happening in other parts of the world. This is how you go to war with the US. I'm gonna just keep it real with y'all. I'm gonna just keep it real. There are maneuvers and tactics and battles at play here. And part of the war against you and I is an emotional and spiritual one. So you've got to get your spiritual house in order and keep it in order. Okay. Speaking of, I need to drink some water and just breathe for a little bit. So I might come back live later. I don't know. But yeah, this is only January 27th, hours away from my birthday, but it's only January 27th. There are over 1,450 days left. I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.